The Great Escape. In the heart of Mexico, nestled in the rugged landscape miles away from the bustling city streets, stood one of the most feared places in the country, Altiplano Prison. Surrounded by towering walls and barbed wire, this maximum security facility was designed to hold Mexico's most dangerous criminals, men who had been involved in some of the most heinous acts imaginable. Among them was Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the notorious drug lord who ruled over the Sinaloa cartel. El Chapo was no ordinary prisoner, and little did the world know he was about to pull off one of the most daring prison breaks in history. The rise of El Chapo. Joaquin Guzman didn't start as a kingpin. Born in the impoverished mountains of Sinaloa, he grew up in a small village where opportunities were few and survival often meant entering the world of illicit activities. Over the years, El Chapo became deeply involved in the drug trade, making a name for himself as a strategic mastermind. He created alliances, eliminated rivals, and built the Sinaloa cartel into the most powerful drug trafficking organization in the world. But with great power came great enemies, and El Chapo was always a target. By 2014, after years on the run, Guzman was finally captured by Mexican authorities in a seaside resort in Mazatlan. His capture was hailed as a great victory in the war against drugs. El Chapo was sent to Altiplano Prison, a place so secure it was believed that no one could ever escape, but they underestimated him. A fortress of steel and stone, Altiplano was designed to be escape-proof. Its walls were thick, the security systems were cutting edge, and guards were placed on high alert at all times. Inside the prison, El Chapo was watched 24/7. His cell was small, cold, and isolated. Every corner of it was monitored by surveillance cameras, leaving him no privacy, except for one small blind spot, the shower area. The prison officials thought they had everything under control, but what they didn't realize was that El Chapo had been planning something extraordinary. Even though the walls of the prison were designed to hold him, Guzman had no intention of staying. His mind was working tirelessly, plotting his next move. The Tunnel of Freedom. For months, unbeknownst to the prison guards, a group of highly skilled workers outside the prison had been working on a secret project. Using advanced tools and under the cover of night, they dug tirelessly, building a tunnel that would lead from El Chapo's shower in his prison cell to freedom. This wasn't just any tunnel. It was an engineering marvel. A mile long, about 5 feet high and 30 inches wide, it stretched underground, passing beneath the layers of concrete, dirt, and steel that were meant to keep Guzman locked up. The tunnel had ventilation systems to keep air flowing, electricity to light the way, and even a small motorcycle on rails used to transport tools and materials during the digging process. El Chapo's cartel had spared no expense. They employed expert engineers and miners, the kind who could dig under the earth without raising any suspicion. It was a project of enormous ambition, requiring patience, planning, and precise execution. As the tunnel neared completion, everything was in place. Soon, El Chapo would make his move, the escape. On the night of July 11, 2015, everything seemed normal at Altiplano Prison. Guards were at their posts, surveillance cameras were working, and El Chapo was in his cell. But just after 9 p.m., something strange happened. Guzman, as he did every night, walked to the shower. This area was the only place not fully covered by the security cameras. He bent down and disappeared into the small opening that had been carefully created under the shower floor. The guards didn't notice anything unusual at first. After all, it wasn't uncommon for prisoners to spend time in the shower. But as the minutes passed, it became clear something was wrong. When the guards finally entered his cell, El Chapo was gone. He had vanished without a trace. Beneath the shower, the guards discovered the entrance to the tunnel, its smooth, reinforced walls leading deep into the earth. The tunnel stretched for over a mile, leading from the prison to a construction site outside the prison walls. El Chapo had mounted the motorcycle on rails and sped through the tunnel toward freedom. The once impenetrable prison had been outwitted by Guzman's brilliance. The manhunt news of the escape spread like wildfire. The Mexican government was humiliated, and a nationwide manhunt was launched. Thousands of soldiers, police officers, and federal agents were mobilized, scouring the countryside and city streets for any trace of the drug lord. Helicopters buzzed overhead, Checkpoints were set up on roads, and surveillance was heightened. The world was captivated by the story. How could a man, under constant surveillance in one of the most secure prisons in the world, dig his way to freedom? But El Chapo had vanished, disappearing into the vast networks of his cartel. Months passed, and despite the efforts of the Mexican government, El Chapo remained a ghost, hidden by those loyal to him. His power and wealth made it easy for him to evade capture. The return of El Chapo. 6 months after his escape, in January 2016, El Chapo made a bold mistake. Reports surfaced that he had been in contact with Hollywood actors and filmmakers, seeking to produce a biopic about his life. One of these contacts was with actor Sean Penn, who arranged for an interview with Guzman. This reckless move led authorities straight to him. On January 8, 2016, Mexican Marines stormed a house in Los Mochis, Sinaloa, after receiving intelligence that Guzman was hiding there. After a brief but intense gunfight, El Chapo was captured once again. This time, Mexican officials decided not to risk another escape. In 2017, he was extradited to the United States, where he faced trial in New York City. In 2019, he was sentenced to life in prison, plus 30 years, and sent to the ADX Florence Supermax prison in Colorado, where he is held to this day under the strictest security. The legacy of El Chapo. El Chapo's story is one of power, ambition, and audacity. His escape from Altiplano Prison was a testament to his cunning and the lengths to which his cartel would go to free their leader. But it also highlighted the deep-seated corruption and vulnerabilities within Mexico's prison system. Though Guzman is now behind bars for good, his legacy lives on. The Sinaloa cartel remains one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world, and El Chapo's name will forever be associated with the legendary escapes that made him a symbol of defiance and danger. In the end, the walls of Altiplano could not contain him. But justice, slow as it may be, finally caught up with the man who believed he was untouchable.